Good afternoon, and welcome to our latest episode of the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Edwards, managing broker at Keller Williams in Bothell, and I'm here with my co-host, Tucker Maxwell, Guild Mortgage. Welcome to the show, Tucker. How are you doing?
I'm great, Dan. How are you today on this fine Thursday?
I'm doing good. It looks like fall is kind of in full effect. We've brought the temperatures down. It's getting cooler in the evening. There's a couple of leaves on my patio. How's it going over at your house? You got leaves falling?
Yeah, not as fast as I thought. And I was actually listening to the Nerd Talk this morning on the radio, and they said because the nights have been warmer, the trees are taking a little bit longer to change. But yeah, they're definitely on their way.
I got $1 million product for you. You want it?
Yeah, love it.
I'm serious. Like, you need to do this right now. Is you need to go and you need to get some netting, like soccer netting.
Yeah.
Right? Goalie netting. And you need to put it over your flower beds right now. And then stake it down. And then when the leaves fall, you just pull it up and take it away.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I call it the leaf net.
Yeah.
The leaf net.
What are we doing here? Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna have to work on my pitch on that a little bit.
Yeah.
The leaf net. I'm creating it. I don't know. I just feel like right, because the leaves get all in there, and then you got to get in and get the little mini rake. Well, here we're gonna solve your problems. Okay, this is not a show. This is not. But wait, there's more for only $19.95. Okay, so today we're going to go down that rabbit hole. Not really, but we're just kind of talking about ready or regret it, and we're kind of transitioning into probably the second busiest market of the year, and that is that free for all. Oh, I just named something else. Free for fall. And that is when people get kids in school, but they still have the goal of getting their home, and they're looking at the market. They're back from vacation. In Europe, they call it holiday. They're back from holiday, and they're kind of getting after it. And we noticed that we talked last week. Mortgage applications up, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay, so today we're going to just kind of go back to the beginning, and there's this emotional response to buying a home, which is realistic. As you get excited, you got all these things going on, but one of the things that can happen is you could run into a buzzsaw with not doing it right. So many buyers will miss out on opportunity because they haven't stopped to do something. So, and that something is getting pre-approved. So what does it really mean to be pre-approved versus pre-qualified? And why is that important?
Yeah. So Dan, this is really timely. It's come up recently where, buyers have called me in a frantic, urgent manner because their dream home's on the market, and they want to move quick. Which is no problem, but they don't understand this question where the difference between pre-qualification and pre-approved. A pre-qualification is just simply, a back of the napkin kind of sketch on what potentially a loan could look like and what you qualify for. It doesn't go the full length of us actually verifying any of that information we discussed in terms of income documentation, asset documentation. And so these folks, the homes on the market, believe it or not, multiple offer situation in the Seattle area again, with a review date. And now we're scrambling. And between when our clients saw the property and that review date, they actually accepted early. And so we didn't even have a chance to get our offer in. We were scrambling to get documents into us. And we didn't know quite how high they could stretch to offer on this home until we finished this process. So they couldn't make it a really strong offer and ultimately lost. So that process, and I love how you said you got to pause to do this. It really has to be done before that home shows up.
Yeah. So from that, but I already called the bank and they've approved me.
Yeah. So the second piece of that is, have you looked at the terms? Do you know what the monthly payment is going to look like? Do you know what your cash to close is? Are you comfortable with those terms? Do you know where the cash to close or the down payment's coming from? There's several components to it other than just, hey, Dan, you're good for a loan, And so it's going that step.
So you mean to tell me that when I call the bank, somebody calls the bank and they say, hey, this is my income and this is my credit score, that's not a pre-approval?
Correct. Yeah. So most of those banks, most times people are going to call their own bank. And so the bank has kind of an inside look. And so it's pretty easy for them to say, okay, this is Dan Edwards. This is his, deposits. And based on what we can kind of get a 10,000-foot view of, it looks like he makes some money, it doesn't say, well, what does his tax returns look like? And did he recently start a business that's creating losses, or does he have rental properties that are massive losses? There's none of that checking of, do we actually qualify? It's just surface level deposit check. Yes, deposits are coming in. You're good. So you're right. No, it doesn't mean that you're officially approved. And a real easy way to know is, did you provide any documents?
Yeah. And, from a real estate agent standpoint, if I represent a seller and I get my seller in contract with a buyer that hasn't actually provided supporting documents to their lender, that's a huge risk for my seller. So in many cases, in every case, if somebody came to the negotiation table with an offer to purchase, subject to financing, and it had a pre-qualification letter, I would not recommend that my seller take that offer or even consider it as a serious offer, because it's basically like, monopoly money at that point.
Yep.
It's not any better than the paper it's written on.
Correct. Yeah. And most good agents call us and they say, hey, Tucker, your name's on this pre-approval letter. Talk to us about it. Have they supplied the documentation? Have they actually gone through underwriting, or is this desktop underwriting? Tell me about it. And so they're digging into it and they want to know, like, how quickly can you close? What happens if a low appraisal comes in? Have you had that conversation with your buyer? These things to really vet, do I know this client well enough to give them the peace of mind that I've actually taken the applicant through underwriting?
Yeah. And so what, in your example there at the beginning, is you said that people are still getting multiple offers. Why is that the case?
The desirable properties, there's very desirable neighborhoods. There's certain employers that people want to be close to. We're seeing price reductions. We're seeing the ability to negotiate it maybe in some seller concessions. And as the rates come down, which we've seen, it's created a flood of new buyers. And so what was true 6 weeks ago is not true today.
Yeah. And I would say that people should pay attention to the hot spots, because we've had this now for, I would say, the better part of the last 2 years. Is there are some homes that come on the market and are sitting, and some that go quickly. So it's not just a blanket like, oh, homes in Kirkland are going quickly, but a 1.5 home in Rose Hill or North Rose Hill is probably going to have a lot of interest, even considering the condition, because that price, our median home price on the east side is 1.6, I think now. Mm-hmm. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Okay. So yes, we're still getting multiple offers. How does being pre-approved strengthen multiple offer situations?
Yeah, I love this question. So winning in a multiple offer situation is so much more than price. And that's what we have to remember from a buying standpoint is, and you talked about this, we have to think in terms of the seller. So of course, price is important. Their proceeds are going to be an important factor, but we have to put ourselves in their shoes. So one way we can strengthen our offer is say, okay, sellers, how fast do you want to be out of this home? Is this a scenario where you've already identified the home you're moving to and you need your cash today to buy that home? Can we offer you a quick 2-week close to get you your money quicker? Which can only really be done if we've pre-approved the client. We've already taken their income and assets through underwriting, and now we're just waiting on property underwriting, so appraisal at value and a clean title report. That allows us to now cater to what the seller wants and strengthen our offer with not even touching the price.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that from a negotiation standpoint, as a real estate agent representing sellers, it also has to do with, well, what is the reputation, not just of the company, but of the loan officer that I'm working with? Because, I think this is less true now than maybe it was before, but, before there's a lot of loan officers out there, and not all people do business the same way, because you're independent contractors. Yes, there is a quality of depending on the loan shop you come out of, right? Guild is top one in the nation. You have to watch it. And again, if I'm making a recommendation to my seller, I'm going to recommend based on the reputation of the organization and the reputation of the person that's working there. So
Yep.
Having a pre-approval from a person like yourself makes a difference, makes a big difference.
Totally. Another advantage that we can offer, and probably true of a lot of the bigger, more reputable companies, is we can, even because we've done this pre-approval through underwriting, we can encourage the buyer to potentially waive financing, which means they don't have a contingency that protects them if their loan falls apart, but we're confident. And we go a step further and we guarantee that approval. And we say, hey, Dan, if you give us the opportunity to underwrite you before you make an offer, and you release earnest money to a seller and waive financing, and for some reason we've made a mistake and we have an error and we can't fund your loan, Guild puts up the earnest money that says, hey, release that to the seller. We made a mistake. We'll pay the earnest money, and then we'll collect it. Or we'll say, okay, Dan, we're just going to fund this loan, and we're going to keep this loan on our books because we made a mistake. So not in addition to closing quicker, you can also remove additional contingencies by getting pre-approved by a shop that can back those guarantees.
So you provide that guarantee to the borrower with their pre-approval letter.
Exactly. Yep.
That's awesome. Is that every loan or is that certain loans?
Yeah, so it's your conventional loans. I don't typically offer that on jumbo loans just because we're dealing with bank investors where their guidelines can change. So what's true today may not be true tomorrow. But for a majority of loans, depending on how big a loan we're talking about, Guild's going to stand behind that decision.
Yeah, I think the interesting part about that is I don't think everybody knows, and there are a lot of clients that have a very low risk tolerance, right? They're afraid of losing themselves, but to have that added backing where they can be aggressive, I think that's a different way of going at it. Is having the guarantee from Guild really does make a big difference. That's great, cool. Yeah. So, what advice would you give somebody that's just browsing in today's market?
Yeah, so another great question, and I think about this in two ways. One is, if you're just a looky loo, just be a looky loo. That's fine. There's people that just like looking at homes and so forth. But if you have any intention, 1% out of 100 of an intention of actually making a move, I would recommend you getting pre-approved. We can do the pre-approval with a soft credit pull almost across the industry now, not specific just to Guild, but almost across the industry. We can do so with a soft credit pull, meaning we're not damaging your credit. We're not getting you on a clock for how quickly that credit report will expire. It gives us all the information we need to do the underwriting and pre-approve you. And now that pre-approval stays valid as long as your income and assets remain the same. So there's no shelf life. There's no expiration on it. If Dan's still employed and still has the money he told us he had, you're still approved. So start the process earlier. Getting a pre-approval also allows us to then give you approximations quickly too. So if you say, hey, here's 123 Main Street, I'm loosely interested in this, we can show you what the numbers are specific to that home. If we don't have an application, we haven't pre-approved you, we don't know your ratios and your credit score, we can't really quote you accurately.
Yeah, it's cool. All right. Well, is there anything else anybody should know about that pre-approval process before we finish up?
The last thing I'll say is, if you own your own home and you're thinking about buying a new one and you aren't sure if you have to sell first or you can buy first or know what your options are, still get pre-approved. A lot of people wait until they list their home and sell their home and then try to figure out what they're going to do. I think there's a lot of people that own homes today that could potentially buy first and then ready their departing home to sell it for top dollar with different solutions available in the market. And so I would tell those people that are unsure of can they make the transition, reach out to us and see what those options are. They may be pleasantly surprised that they could buy first before selling.
That's awesome. All right, Tucker, thanks so much. Now, what do we got going on this weekend? We took a loss. The Seahawks took a loss this weekend, so they're playing out of town, but the Mariners are in town.
The Mariners are in town. The Sounders are the Sounders are at home too. Sounders are at home against LA Galaxy. Mariners at home against St. Louis, I believe, right?
No, Angels now. St. Louis, they just finished yesterday.
Well, I did read an article that somebody paid somebody on Etsy to do a witchcraft thing to turn the Mariner season around, and that so far that's been working. So thank you for the witch
Oh, you saw that?
curse that occurred on the Mariners. So they had lost like 10 games in a row or something, and it was on ESPN. It was like a big deal. This hoax about this.
Wait,
witch.
It was a witch, or they cast a spell, or they did
They cast a spell to reverse the curse.
Oh, so there was a curse? What happened? Who put the curse on them?
Well, I mean, we haven't been around for as long as the Red Sox or anything like that, and we didn't,
Oh, I see. So this was like one of those things to like change the momentum, which it looks good. I think they've won 5 in a row.
Yeah, so I'm on board. Whatever the witch did, I'm on board.
Well, this Friday I'm going. It's fireworks night.
Nice.
It's the first time that I can think. Well, it's not the first time. First time in a very long time that September has been relevant-ish. But absolutely. I think there's like a 6-team crowd for 4 spots. So
that's right. Yeah, and big series to end. We have the Dodgers to end the year.
Astros and Dodgers.
Yeah, Astros first, and then Dodgers in Seattle, and Dodgers are right there to win their division too. So we have some big games coming up the next 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, I guess I should go ahead and buy Root Sports to stream for a month.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time at a bar.
Well, I was doing a game cast on my phone last night. I'm like, come on, what's happening? Refresh.
I was doing the same thing. And it went late.
It was very late, 13 innings.
Yeah.
Cool. What else you doing around? Okay, we talked sports. What else you doing around the Northwest, or should somebody do? I think, taking a ferry ride is awesome. I'm going to actually go hang out in downtown Seattle this weekend, playing golf in Tacoma. So I got kind of a busy weekend, showing properties on Sunday, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think Oktoberfests are starting to pop up. And if you're into the microbrewery scene of Seattle, this should be part of your podcast, is fresh hop season. So all the hops are headed this direction from Yakima, and all the breweries will be doing their fresh hop beers. So something to check out if you're into that.
Awesome. Well, Tucker, as always, thanks for coming on the podcast. Great conversation. Do get ready. Don't regret it. There's some tremendous opportunity, best opportunity in quite some time to get a great home in this market. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.
You too. Thanks, Dan.